Have you ever felt completely alone, even while sitting at the same dinner table with the people you love the most? Have you ever laughed at a joke, nodded along in a conversation, helped your husband with something small, and yet felt a strange emptiness sitting quietly behind your smile? Have you ever looked around your own home, filled with warmth, filled with responsibilities, filled with people who need you every single day, and still whispered to yourself, "Is this really the life my soul came here to live?" Every morning, she wakes up before everyone else. She prepares meals with love. She listens to everyone's problems, holds everyone's emotions, remembers everyone's needs, and quietly pushes her own feelings aside for one more day. She gives her energy to her husband, her children, her in-laws, her home, and by the time the day ends, there is nothing left for herself. But somewhere deep inside, in a place she rarely visits anymore, there is a question she has never said out loud, not even to the people closest to her. Where did I go? When did I stop being myself, and start being only useful to everyone else? This is not just one woman's story. This is the hidden soul journey that so many married women silently walk through, day after day, year after year, without anyone truly noticing. And today, through the gentle and timeless wisdom inspired by Paramahansa Yogananda, we are going to walk through this journey together, not to create sadness, but to bring understanding, healing, and peace. So take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders soften. And let us begin this journey, gently, together. Marriage is meant to be a beautiful union of two souls walking together, growing together, supporting each other through the journey of life. But for many women, without anyone realizing it, marriage slowly becomes something else. It becomes a quiet disappearance of the self. Piece by piece, day by day, she begins to vanish, not physically, but inside. She becomes someone's wife. Then she becomes someone's mother. Then she becomes someone's daughter-in-law, someone's daughter, someone's sister. Her own name, the name her parents once called her with so much love, is still hers, but somehow, it is rarely spoken anymore. People call her by her relationships, not by who she truly is. She gives her time so generously to everyone around her, her husband, her children, her extended family, her home, and yet, she rarely gives even a single quiet hour to her own soul, to her own dreams, to her own breath. This is the hidden problem that so many married women silently carry. It is not a bad husband. It is not a bad family. It is not even a bad marriage. The real problem, the deeper truth, is this. She has slowly forgotten that she is a soul first, and a wife, a mother, a daughter-in-law second. And this forgetting happens so gradually, so silently, that she does not even notice the years quietly passing by. Then, one ordinary day, while getting ready, while looking into the mirror, she pauses. She looks a little longer than usual. And a quiet question rises from somewhere deep within her heart. Who have I become? And where did the woman I used to be actually go? This inner ache, this quiet loneliness inside a full and loving household, is real, and it deserves to be spoken about with gentleness, with compassion, and never with shame. Paramahansa Yogananda often taught that every soul enters this world already whole, already peaceful, already divine, carrying within it a light that no circumstance can ever truly diminish. But the moment this soul enters family life, enters marriage, enters the daily rhythm of duties and responsibilities, it slowly begins to identify itself with roles instead of remembering its true, eternal nature. From a psychological point of view, this happens because so many women are trained, quietly and gradually, from childhood itself, to become the givers, the adjusters, the ones who manage everyone else's emotions long before they even pause to notice their own. She learns, without anyone directly teaching her, that her worth is measured by how much she sacrifices, how much she adjusts, how much she quietly endures for the peace of the household. From a spiritual point of view, this happens because the ego attaches itself so deeply to duty, to responsibility, to the role of being needed. And when duty is carried out without inner awareness, without conscious remembrance of the self behind the duty, it slowly begins to replace her very identity. She is not weak for feeling this way. She is not overly emotional or ungrateful. She is simply human, living in a world that praises sacrifice again and again, but rarely, if ever, teaches women how to gently return to themselves after they have given so much to everyone else. The soul does not mind service. The soul does not resist love or giving. What the soul truly minds is forgetting who is actually doing the serving. This is precisely why so many married women feel a quiet, deep exhaustion that no amount of sleep can ever fully heal, because it is not only the body that is tired. It is the soul, patiently waiting, silently longing, to finally be remembered again. Every marriage, every family bond, every relationship that touches our life is never truly a coincidence. According to the deeper spiritual understanding that Paramahansa Yogananda so often shared with sincere seekers, we are drawn to the very people and situations that our soul needs most, for growth, for healing, for balancing what came long before this lifetime began. A woman who feels unseen within her own marriage, who feels quietly invisible in her own home, may in fact be healing a much older pattern, one that could stretch back to her childhood, one that could echo from a past life, or one that may even flow through an entire lineage of women before her, women who also learned to silence themselves for the sake of peace. This understanding does not mean she must simply accept suffering as her unavoidable fate, folding her hands and staying quiet forever. It means, instead, that she must learn to understand her situation with wisdom, with clarity, rather than with bitterness or resentment. Karma, in its truest sense, is not a punishment sent to make her suffer. Karma is a mirror, gently placed before her, showing her exactly where her soul still needs to grow, in awareness, in patience, in self-love, and in quiet inner strength. When she stops endlessly asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead begins to gently ask, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" something remarkable begins to shift within her. The entire journey, the entire relationship, the entire feeling of being unseen, slowly begins to transform, not because the outer circumstances suddenly change overnight, but because her inner understanding deepens, and from that deeper understanding, real peace, real clarity, and real strength begin to quietly rise from within her own heart. Let us gently look at some real, deeply relatable moments that so many married women silently experience, moments that rarely get spoken about out loud, yet quietly shape their everyday lives. She sits in a room full of family, surrounded by laughter, surrounded by conversation, surrounded by people she deeply loves, and yet, somewhere within her, she feels almost invisible, as though no one truly sees her, only what she does for them. She once had a dream, a talent, a passion that made her eyes light up, something that was completely, purely her own, but it has quietly been placed on hold for years, with no clear day ever set to return to it, buried gently beneath endless responsibilities. She spends her days giving advice, giving comfort, giving strength to everyone around her, her husband, her children, her parents, her in-laws, and yet, there is rarely anyone who pauses to ask her, with genuine care, "And how are you, really, beneath all of this giving?" She feels a quiet guilt whenever she wants a little rest, whenever she wants a few moments of silence, whenever she simply wants time alone, as though wanting these small things somehow makes her selfish or ungrateful. She loves her family with her whole heart, deeply, sincerely, without any doubt, and yet, at night, when the house finally becomes quiet, she sometimes feels a strange, unexplainable emptiness that she cannot quite put into words, even to herself. If any part of this feels familiar to you, if your own heart quietly nodded while hearing these words, please understand this clearly. This is not selfishness. This is not weakness. This is simply your soul, gently, patiently, asking to be included in the same love that you so freely and generously give to everyone else around you. Healing, in its truest and gentlest form, does not mean leaving your family, abandoning your duties, or walking away from the life you have lovingly built. Healing simply means learning to return to your own center, quietly, patiently, while still fully living your life, still caring for those you love, still fulfilling your responsibilities with an open heart. The first step is to gently reclaim small moments of solitude for yourself, because even 10 quiet minutes with your eyes closed, or a short walk taken alone, can slowly reconnect you back to your own soul, back to your own breath. The second step is to speak your needs honestly, without carrying guilt for doing so, because saying I need rest is not selfish, it is simply truthful, and a tired soul cannot continue pouring love into others for very long without eventually running empty. The third step is to gently return to something that belongs only to you, a hobby, a quiet prayer, a book, a skill you once loved, anything at all that softly reminds you, I exist beyond my roles, I exist beyond what I do for everyone else. The fourth step is to practice inner witnessing, a gentle awareness that Yogananda often spoke about, stepping back calmly to observe your own emotions rather than being completely swept away by them, quietly asking yourself, who is it that is feeling this right now, and who is it that is silently watching the one who feels? And finally, speak to God, or to your own higher self, with complete honesty, not with formal or rehearsed words, but simply, the way a daughter would speak openly to her father, saying exactly what is truly resting in your heart. True wisdom is never found in escaping your household. True wisdom is found in gently bringing your soul fully into your household, fully present, fully alive, fully remembered. Here is the deepest truth, dear soul, one that is worth pausing to truly absorb. You did not lose yourself somewhere along the way, and you did not simply fail or fall short in some way. You only gently placed your soul in the background, quietly, softly, because your heart was capable of holding so much love for everyone around you. But now, it is time to lovingly bring her forward again, not by abandoning your family, not by walking away from the life you have built, but by learning to love yourself with that very same devotion, that very same tenderness, that you have so freely given to everyone else all these years. The teachings inspired by Paramahansa Yogananda remind us, gently and repeatedly, that you are not the body, you are not the role you play, you are not even the title given to you by others. You are the eternal soul, quietly wearing the temporary costume of wife, of mother, of daughter-in-law, for this brief and precious chapter of your journey. When you remember this truth, even for a few sacred moments each day, something within you begins to shift, and everything slowly begins to change. Your service to others becomes lighter, no longer heavy with quiet resentment. Your love becomes wiser, no longer lost in self-forgetting. And your home, the very same home you have poured yourself into, slowly transforms into a temple, rather than remaining a place that feels like a quiet cage. The soul's journey through marriage was never meant to be a punishment. It is, in truth, one of the most powerful and sacred paths of awakening available to a human being, because it gently teaches selfless love, deep patience, and quiet inner strength, in a way that very few other experiences in life ever can. So today, before you return to your daily duties, before you step back into the beautiful business of your life, please pause for just one quiet moment. Gently place your hand upon your heart, close your eyes if you can, and softly ask yourself, when was the last time I truly listened to my own soul, not my duties, not my responsibilities, but the quiet voice living within me? Let that question stay with you gently, not as pressure, not as guilt, but simply as a soft invitation to slowly come home to yourself, one quiet breath at a time. If this message touched your heart even a little, if something within these words felt familiar to your own journey, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel, so that more women, and the men who love and support them, can also find this same peace, this same understanding, this same gentle wisdom. And if you feel comfortable, I would love for you to write a comment below, sharing one small thing you personally related to in this video, perhaps a moment, a feeling, or a line that quietly touched something within you. I would also love to know, from your own heart, what is one small thing you will do today, just for your own soul, just for yourself. And please, do tell me, in the comments below, which topic you would love for me to explore next, so that together, we can continue walking this beautiful spiritual journey, one video, one truth, one awakening at a time. Until we meet again in the next video, walk gently, love wisely, and never forget, behind every role you play in this world, there is an eternal soul who deserves your love too.